audience and then go to where they are. But once you understand that there's only a few choices, then you have to learn how to work that audience within those limits.
That's so helpful. So helpful. I'm still figuring out Twitter, and I'm sure many people are. I mean, there are people that Twitter 10 times a day and flood the Twitter,
The 10 a day is not a flood.
It isn't?
No, 100 a day is a flood.
Oh my God! See, the whole paradigm is different. Yeah, someone said to me, every time you practically breathe, you should be twittering.
Oh God! Again,
I'll never get anything done.
Yeah,
but,
there are people who treat it like a microblog, which I don't respect that name for it. I don't think that's appropriate. Because it's a communication device, it is not a blog. Yes, you can say powerful things in 140 characters, but, it's just like people used to believe that you had to feed your blog constantly, that you had to have, 5 posts a week or 7 posts a day, whatever it is, 7 a week or 3 a day or, all these things that you had to have volume. Well, volume doesn't equal quality, and people got burned out.
I was actually told that at the beginning, and I didn't accept it. I really didn't accept it. In fact, I'm not even sure audiences understand how a blog communicates with the search engines. Would you share something about that?
How it communicates with the search engine?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Okay. Well, see, that's okay. Here we go. I was told that a blog communicates with the search engine different than a static website, and a lot of people think that. Why?
Okay. All right, I'm going to get a little bit geeky here.
Get geeky with it.
Okay. First of all, a search engine sends out what's called a web crawler, and it crawls through everything. Everything it finds, everything that has a link that leads to something else, it sends its little spiders out there. It goes, is something good here, and then is there another link there that I can follow there and follow there and follow there. So in the old days, when you had the static web pages or anything, you had links on that page would lead to other links, and any page that didn't have a link going to it was called an orphan, because it wouldn't be indexed by the it wouldn't be crawled by the search engines, because it didn't have a pointer that went, go look, there's something here, which is no different than going through a maze. Which it is. When it's crawling through the web, it's literally crawling through a maze, and there's dead ends all over the place, and there's isolated pockets that you just can't get to unless you know the right door. So if there's no doors, you can't open it. So when it indexes the information, that's as simple as that. Now, the difference between a static site and a blog in the early years for search engines is that a static site had to have a link to every page, but it could be possible to not have one. In a blog, especially a blog designed like WordPress, which was like search engine, candy, is that every page had a next post and previous post, which immediately links them together. It had archives, categories, which are pages that show more than one post on a page and then multiple things. So there was many different ways of viewing your content. And that was set up for the user experience. Oh, this is cool. What else have they written? Hit next. Hit next. Well, I want to see only what they've written on WordPress and nothing else. I don't want to know anything about this blogging stuff. I just want WordPress information. So there'd be a category for whatever your category was, and then that would hold a collection of just that work, that body of work. So that created many different ways to never have an orphan page. Okay, that's the simple thing. And then Google introduced XML sitemaps. Now,
right.
I want to be in charge of naming things. A sitemap in the old days with a space between the two words is a table of contents for your site. And that's how people avoided orphan pages, because they had this grandiose, table of contents. Well, if you've written over 1,000 articles, that's one heck of a table of contents.
Indeed.
So, anyway, they used that premise of the table of contents, this sitemap, and they squished the two words together into one. Sitemap, no word, no space. And an XML sitemap is a code you do not see. It's underneath, and every time you publish a new page, it adds that to that sitemap with this little bit of code to create a table of contents. Search engines now look for that. They go, here's a list of all the pages. Anything new? Anything not? Because they often had trouble telling what was new, what was changed, what was not. This little sitemap script now monitors all of that. And so the search engine comes down, it knocks and says, is there anything new in the store today? And then it says, yes, if you go in the right corner, over there. No, to the left, to the left, to the left. Now turn right. There you go. That's the new tuna fish we have, we carry. So it will direct the search engine. So instead of the search engine, the algorithm, little, that's not right, but crawler or spider that goes through, instead of having to do all the work of going through every single thing on your site over and over again, it now says, okay, I'm only going to look what's new or what's changed, and then I'm gone. So it can move faster through the process.
Why do people have RSS then?
That has nothing to do with it. Totally different subject.
Okay.
So XML is a language code, it's a programming code, and XML is also has programming that will allow you to extract your content in the form of feeds. And RSS is a type of feed, XML is a type of feed, Atoms is another type of feed. Those are all feeds. But people are now using the word RSS to represent any feed. Wrong. A feed is a feed, and there are many different types. But that's a different thing. It's related, but the XML sitemaps is based on XML coding, very similar to the feed, the feed coding. And
that's standard in WordPress?
No, sitemaps are installed now with WordPress. It should be. It should be because now it's been accepted by 4 or 5 different major search engines, but I don't think it's in the core yet. I haven't checked to see if they're including it in 3.0, the next version that's coming out, but it should be because it's becoming a standard. But right now you can install it manually or with a sitemap plugin. And manually you go to Google or whoever, Yahoo or whatever search engine you enjoy, and the sitemap program will be exactly the same. There's actually a sitemap site now that has created its own foundation, and you can get that code and slap that sucker in there. So that speeds up the indexing process. So the blog isn't communicating with the search engines. The search engines are going through the file cabinet of your data, and they're indexing it. Now, what happens that's the geeky part of it. The simple part of how a search engine works is that if you want to be found, you need to write findable words. Now, I want to repeat that. If you want to be found, you have to write findable words. While Google and other search engines are getting better at indexing images and video and audio, they really don't have any way of reading those written words that are not in a podcast or a videocast or a screencast or an image. All they can do is look at the words that are around it, the alternate descriptions of the image, if that is placed right in the HTML, or the name of the file. And image 84692 does not say red balloon. So that's the only way they have of indexing are based on words, the written words. So people who do podcasts, the show notes are exceptionally critical because Google goes through those words. Images, screencasts, it's all nice to slap them suckers, the videos and things in, but if you don't have the right words to accompany them, it's really hard to find it. So Google and all the rest of them, just search engines in general, they still are indexing words.
Very important.
And it is wonderful. You need it in your house. In fact, you need it in your office. You need it with you at all times. It's amazing. I can't live without it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm dying to know. Whatever it is, the mystery is killing me.
It is amazing.
What is it?
Don't write with pronouns. That's the it. Just please, don't write with pronouns.
My whole site is being shredded again, everybody.
Yeah.
It's the second shredding. Talk about it more.
But it's the truth. We use pronouns. It's wonderful. It's fantastic. We really, it's like old 8th grade, high school writing, where you were only allowed to use the name in the first part of the sentence, but the rest of the paragraph, you just use the